Ms. Townsend, you are employed by your agency in what capacity
I am the foster care case manager for the case.
for this family here? And you are employed, of course, by Wellspring Lutheran Services. You are a pretty new caseworker on this matter, correct?
That is correct.
Did you have a chance to review the case file and review the matter with your supervisor and maybe the prior worker?
That is correct.
You feel confident you can testify in this case here today?
That is correct.
Your Honor, before I proceed with testimony, I have 4 proposed exhibits that I provided to the court and counsel. If I could simply list them.
Yes, please.
Number 1 being proposed case service plan with attached PAAs and the honorable judge report. The date of the case service plan is August 1st of this year. As proposed, number 2, there's a addendum dated 8/27 of 25. As proposed, number 3, there's a packet of forensic fluid laboratory results for Mr. Thomas. And as number 4, there's a packet of forensic fluid lab screen results for Ms. Woodenberg.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection, thank you.
They are admitted.
Thank you. Ms. Woodenberg, let's talk about this case. Let's start with the unknown father. We still have an unknown father for Mariah, correct?
Correct.
Did you or your agency attempt to identify a either legal or biological father for Mariah?
That is correct. There were efforts made to locate the father and try to figure out who the father was, but as of right now, we haven't found anything yet.
All right. Let's move on to the known parents. Let's start with Mr. Thomas. Can you update the court on Mr. Thomas's progress? He is the biological and legal father to, I believe, RT. We call him RJ just for the record, correct?
Correct.
And can you tell us about the progress that he's made during this report period?
So it appears that it has been touch and go with Mr. Thomas. He has not been doing his drug screens as he was supposed to. With home visits, he isn't really willing to let the agency worker come into the home and go over the home visit tool with him.
And that's because, if I may interrupt, he is currently living with some friends.
That is correct.
And the friends don't want any agency members visiting their home. Is that what he's stating?
I cannot attest to that. I am not sure.
I believe it was in a report somewhere, but if not, please continue about his progress.
Okay. So he is currently residing with friends in the Grand Rapids area. He did report that he doesn't want the foster care worker in the home due to the friends and, things like that, not wanting to be in the home and not wanting to participate in that. Mr. Robert did say that he can move back with his mother should reunification occur. And this was confirmed by Mr. Thomas' mother. Mr. Thomas borrows a car from his friends. He takes RJ to and from school. Mr. Thomas stated that opportunities from employment throughout the reporting period. Mr. Thomas has had a job and provided the caseworkers with verification of employment as far as pay stubs. However, he's no longer working at that job that he provided the pay stubs for. The caseworker did ask about his work schedule to try to, come up with some times where he can drug test and do visits, whether it is at his home or maybe at a, mutual location. He was provided with gas cards and he does complete a budget every 3 months for his financial situation. And yeah, like I said before, he hasn't really been drug tested, so we don't know if he is sober or not. We would like Mr. Thomas to start participating in those services again, as far as drugs testing, parenting time at the agency, and hopefully getting to see him in person and kind of touching base about the case, just so everyone is on the same page.
Your addendum indicates that Mr. Thomas participated in 0 out of 13 drug screens that he was randomly called to do.
That is correct.
Has he been informed that presumptively, if he misses those drug screens, it is presumptively positive?
That is correct.
And I see that the screens that he did do on 8/8 of 25, that was outside of his randomly called numbers, they came back positive for THC, correct?
That is correct.
And that is a concern whether or not he is still abusing THC.
That is correct.
Currently, he's not employed. He doesn't have his own housing.
Does not have his own housing, and I do not know his employment status as of right now.
Okay. However, his parenting time go well, reportedly.
I do not want to confirm or deny that. So far, I haven't heard anything negative about the parenting time, so I'm gonna just leave it at that.
All right. Do you know whether or not he's attended every parenting time, or has he missed some?
No, he hasn't missed any parenting times.
All right. And are there any other services that you believe Mr. Thomas could utilize to help him be a better parent?
I would say, start participating in the home visits, start drug screening again, making sure that he's compliant with this agency's expectations in order to kind of get that reunification process, allow that to keep going. Yeah.
Right. And then Mr. Thomas's mother is actually the placement for his son, which is RT, correct?
Yes.
And the relative placement has been appropriate throughout this case, to your knowledge.
Yes.
Wonderful. Let's move on to the mother, Ms. Woodenberg. Can you update the court on her progress?
Yes. Ms. Woodenberg has been doing good as far as maintaining employment, providing the agency with verification of employment. She was participating in drug screenings from August 1st. She did stop doing those, due to miscommunication. She did just move into her new home. It is under renovation, but that is a huge step in her progress.
Have you had a chance to visit that new home?
I will be visiting that new home on Friday.
Please continue.
Okay. So Miss Woodenberg is able to get a license as a restricted license, but this will allow her to have more transportation options because right now she is taking the bus. Ms. Woodenberg is able to participate in an appropriate schedule to ensure that she arrives at the places on time and is able to maintain her schedule to ensure to meet her needs for her child and herself. Ms. Woodenberg has been able to successfully demonstrate her emotional stability through the reporting period. Ms. Woodenberg acknowledges that her drinking has caused these events to occur, so she's aware that due to her decisions, this is why this transpired. She takes full accountability for that, and she's working towards being better for herself and her child. Parenting skills are a kind of a concern as far as, it goes with her and Anaya, but her and RJ, they're doing good. They're still doing overnights. There hasn't been anything reported to go negatively.
Let me just interrupt and remind everyone we need to be using the children's initials.
Yeah. So the agency would like to return RJ to Miss Woodenberg's home this Friday.
All right. I understand that RT or RJ, as we call him, has been returned, at least placed with mom last week. However, that was pulled back. What was the reason for that?
The reason for that was we didn't receive a drug screen from her since August 1st. And due to the miscommunication between her and the past worker, she was under the impression that she no longer needed to drug screen. But I did contact her and call her and let her know that she does need to continue to drug screen. And that we will kind of postpone the return home of RJ due to that reason. And she did drug screen last week. We are waiting for those results, and we want to place him back into the home on Friday.
Any concerns that Ms. Woodenberg is currently maybe had fallen off the wagon?
There has been some, not from me personally, but there has been some concerns from, I believe, her mom about her possibly drinking again. But like I said, I cannot attest to that because we don't have that screening back yet. But from what I've heard from KRP, she seems to be pretty, you know, in the right mind, in the right state. When I talk to her over the phone or when we text, she seems to be pretty compliant, pretty able to understand everything that's going on. As soon as I told her that she needs to drug test, she called her right away, and she showed up to the agency within a few hours after. So it seems like she's going on the right path.
All right, so we just simply need to keep an eye on that for a period of time, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. So Ms. Woodenberg's reunification with RT or RJ seems to be on the right track, and it's going pretty good, correct?
That is correct.
However, are you aware of the fact that Ms. Woodenberg and her parenting time with Anaya, should it begin, is very uncomfortable or resistant to having supervised parenting time with I should say, AW?
That is correct. That is what I've heard from the caregivers.
And that is concerning.
That is concerning.
Likewise, there were at least some attempts to have counseling, joint counseling between AW and Ms. Woodenberg, and according to what I've gleaned, it appears that Ms. Woodenberg is not open to that counseling either, correct?
That is correct.
And that is concerning likewise.
That is concerning.
All right. All right, so let's move on to the children. RT is up to date on all of his medical and dental checkups.
That is correct.
He is in school.
He is in school.
And he's attending on a regular basis.
That is correct.
He's doing well in school.
He's doing good in school.
All right, who's taking him, transporting him to school and back home?
I believe it's his father and his mother. They kind of go back and forth depending on who has him at the time, whether it's his caregivers or his mother, whether she's doing overnights with him. I know that she told me on the phone that he usually goes to school from her house and she picks him up.
And he really misses his mom and his dad, doesn't he?
That is correct.
All right. Any concerns about RT at this point?
There are no concerns at this point for RT.
All right. Let's move on to AW. Is she up to date on all her medical and dental checkups?
She is up to date.
Currently and throughout this case, she has been placed in, I believe, a licensed foster home.
That is correct.
And how is she doing in that foster home?
She's doing okay. There are some concerns for her mental health and her eating habits. She did disclose that with the past caseworker as well as her caregivers. We do want to keep an eye on that just because she does kind of struggle emotionally and behaviorally with her everyday movements and actions. But overall, she's doing okay. She did just get a car. She is on a budget. Her caregivers are trying to teach her how to manage her money responsibly. But like I said, we do need to keep an eye on her mental health and well-being. That is a concern.
She was quite busy during the summertime, during the vacation. At least she went to 2 different camps during her stay,
That is correct.
and she really enjoyed the camp style.
That is correct.
And after the camp, she also had a fallback in her mental health, and is that being addressed?
That is being addressed. She is doing counseling. She struggles with ED, but she's doing better. So yeah, it is being worked on and monitored.
All right. And where is she in counseling currently?
I believe she is in counseling. 1 second. I believe she's in counseling. She's with the EFC program, and then
Right.
the EFC program.
Right. And that is progressing well.
That is progressing well.
There is a bond that's reported between the EFC worker and AW.
Yes,
Good. There was also some concern about her dabbling with marijuana use during this report period.
that was a concern that she was doing that.
However, it appears that that has been addressed appropriately by her and the foster parents.
That is correct.
And at this point, we have no concerns going any further with that issue, correct?
We do not, but that will continue to be monitored.
All right. She doing well in school?
She's doing well in school. Yes.
And the permanency plan, at least goal for AW currently, is alternative either reunification or independent living.
That is correct. Alpha.
All right, and she has expressed interest in APLA more than in reunification at this point, based upon some of the issues with her mom that have been ongoing.
Yes.
Wonderful. Anything else about AW?
Not right now.
Right. This is a permanency planning hearing. Will the return, let's start with just one child at a time, with the return of RT or RJ home to his parent or parents today because of substantial risk of harm to his health, physical health, mental health, or well-being.
No.
So you are recommending that this child be returned home today?
No, not today. Friday.
So there is currently a substantial risk of harm if we returned RT back home today, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. With the initiations of termination.
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt. Could you specify what the conditions are that you need to have met before return on Friday? I'll have to specify that in the order.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The returns are, we would like him to start screening again, the father to start screening again. He has not been screening. And for mom as well. We want mom to start screening. We want some tests to come back clean to make sure that she has not relapsed.
And likewise, KRP is in place.
Yes.
And how long can KRP continue for the parents' home, which is the mother at this time, Miss Woodenberg?
I believe the end date is around 3 months.
Okay. So they're ready to go should RT be returned home on Friday?
Yes.
Good. So with the initiation of termination proceeding as to RT would be in his best interest today?
No.
And that's because Ms. Woodenberg has made substantial progress and the plan is to return RT home to mom, correct?
Yes.
All right. Has the current foster home or the relative foster home provided a reasonable and prudent parenting standard as defined in a statute, and that RT had the regular opportunity to engage in age or developmentally appropriate activity?
Yes.
Can you give us an example?
RJ is thriving in his placement. He's doing really well in school. He has been participating in extracurricular activities. He seems like a very happy kiddo. There are really no concerns as far as his behavior goes, emotionally, mentally. He seems like he's in good spirits when he's with his mother. Like I say, he's doing really well in school. So that's like
All
the
right.
main thing.
And both RT and AW have regular sibling visits.
That is correct.
All right. Let's move on to AW. Would the return of her home to her parents cause a substantial risk of harm to her physical or mental well-being?
Yes.
And would the initiation of termination proceeding be appropriate as to AW?
No.
And that is because she would have to consent since she's over the age of 14 and she is making progress in her PPH goal at this point by recommendation of the agency would be APLA, correct?
Yes. And she's interested in Alpha.
Wonderful. Has the out-of-home placement followed the reasonable and prudent parenting standards as defined in a statute, and that AW has had the regular opportunities to engage in age or developmentally appropriate activities?
Yes.
Can you give us an example?
Even though she is struggling a little bit with her mental, she did do camp. She is doing good in school. She's very respectful, open and honest, and she is learning to budget her money as well as her caregivers purchasing a car for her, which helps her learn those independent living skills that will build her up for the future.
And speaking of the car, if I could touch base on that, it was the foster parents who expended the initial payment for the car.
That is correct.
And they have applied through the agency for a reimbursement of those costs.
That is correct.
And is that being done in a timely manner?
We are working on getting reimbursement through YIT.
Thank you. Your recommendations here today.
My recommendations to the court would be it is respectfully recommended that Anaya and Robert Jr. continue to remain temporary court wardens under the care and supervision of the Department of Health and Human Services and Wellspring Lutheran Services. Anaya remain placed with her relative placement or licensed foster home. Robert Jr., who remained placed in the home with Ms. Woodenberg or licensed foster home or relative home. Ms. Woodenberg and Mr. Thomas comply with the benefits from the parent agency treatment plan. Mr. Thomas parenting times remain supervised or unsupervised at the agency's discretion. Ms. Wonderberg's parenting times be supervised or unsupervised at the agency's discretion. The permanency goal remain reunification. This matter be reviewed in 30 days respectfully.
If I can just clarify, you were asking for reunification for RT, however, either reunification or APLA for AW, correct?
That is correct.
All right. And I believe that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Ortega.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a few brief questions. Have you asked AW if she's ready to see her mom at all?
I have not touched base with her personally, but I did speak on the phone this morning with her caregiver, and he did mention to me that she is interested in, kind of doing supervised parenting times with her mom, kind of getting that bond back built. But then it was kind of touch and go with that because I'm hearing something from the caregivers versus hearing something from her attorney. So right now, I just want to have a talk with her before proceeding with that parenting time, just a one-on-one, and see where her head is at with that.
Okay. And then I think that was the only one. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mobilia.
Thank you, Your Honor. With regard to Mr. Thomas, I'm kind of going to summarize it. He lives with friends, but if reunification was going to take place, he'd live with his mother, whose home is appropriate, correct?
That is correct.
Right. And he is employed now, but you can't verify his income because he's paid under the table, correct?
That is correct.
But he's preparing a budget for you.
That is correct.
And have you asked to see like bank accounts or so that you could see money deposited or anything like that?
No, but I can.
Okay. And with regard to any other services, he doesn't really need any other services except you want him to drug screen, correct?
I do want him to drug screen.
Okay. And it's fair to say that this case has had numerous workers, right?
That is correct.
And both my client and Ms. Ortega's client have complained about not being able to know who to be in touch with at the agency. Okay, so is that going to be rectified now? Are you going to be the worker that they know they can contact?
Yes,
And with regard to his test was positive for marijuana. Marijuana is legal, right?
that is correct.
And the case law is that it has to impact his parenting time. Has there been any indication that him testing positive for marijuana has impacted his parenting time?
I don't want to confirm or deny that, but there is a safety plan in place for his THC use.
So you don't know?
No
Well, you've
concerns
heard
have
from
been
the work,
reported.
you've heard from people who've seen his parenting time, there's not an issue, correct?
That is correct. No concerns have been reported.
And he takes RJ, and actually through most of this case, he's taken RJ to school and picked him up every day.
That is correct.
And the parties get along together, correct?
That is correct.
And they've actually, if this case does close with regard to RJ, they've already formulated a parent agency, well, a parenting time arrangement, fair to say?
Fair to say. Yes, ma'am.
So the agency is going to close the case with regard to RJ if she successfully completes KRP.
That is correct.
And that would also discharge RJ as well as Mr. Thomas from this case.
That is correct.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Kasorok, any follow-up?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Townsend, real quickly, page 37 of the case service plan. At the bottom of page 37, under best interest of child placement, as to the father, it indicates that recent conversations with RJ, which is RT, in a recent conversation, he has stated that he does not want to discuss discipline because he does not want to get his dad in trouble. Is that a concern for the agency?
That is a concern. This is a CPS complaint. So the CPS complaint, yes.
Do you know what happened with that CPS complaint? Was it substantiated or was it still being in progress?
I believe it is still in progress. Nope, it's been closed. Sorry, it's been closed.
All right. But that causes at least a little bit of concern for the agency because of that statement by RJ, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Ms. Ortega, any follow-up?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Mobilia?
If the CPS closed the case, that means it was unsubstantiated, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Kasorok, any follow-up?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Ortega?
No, Your Honor.
Any additional witnesses, Mr. Kasorok?
No, thank you.
Ms. Ortega, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Mobilia?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Kasorok, statement?
Thank you. I did have the opportunity to visit both children and their current placements. I find that AW's placement is very appropriate. The foster parents are really involved with AW and are very helpful to her through this tough times and her challenges that she is going through. I have no issues in speaking with AW. She's indicated that she would like to have at least some supervised contact with her mother. However, she's indicated that mother is not willing to have that supervised contact with her, so that is concerning for me and to AW. Likewise, she did indicate to me that she would really like to go APLA and independent living at some point, Your Honor, and I believe that that would be the best permanency goal for that child. As far as RT is concerned, I did visit him in his current placement. He's always a happy kid, dressed very nicely, very active and talkative. He's doing well in that placement. With some concern, I believe that the permanency goal of return to Ms. Woodenberg of RT is appropriate. Likewise, I think that the recommendations are appropriate. I just want to take it easy with both children based upon the issues that we had in the past, and hopefully the parents will start screening again appropriately. So I would ask that the court adopt the recommendations of the agency currently, and hopefully this is going to be our sixth, I believe, and last worker on this case. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ortega.
Thank you, Your Honor. As to RJ, I believe the recommendation is appropriate. I would ask the court give permission to the agency to submit a case closure notice should they deem the case should be closed prior to the next hearing for him, and should he be returned by this Friday. And it may not take KRP to work that long with Ms. Woodenberg. For AW, it does appear that she might be open to parenting times. And so I know we've gone a long time with not doing any kind of order that allows for supervised parenting time. But I would ask the order would allow for supervised parenting time. I do think it's appropriate for the worker to check with the child herself to see if she's willing and open and make that determination with her therapist. And also I'd encourage the new worker to check with Ms. Woodenberg, because it's not my understanding of, it's my understanding she would be cooperative with a therapist and meeting with that therapist in AW. So it's the first time hearing of it, that she wouldn't be. So I'd ask her to review that again. And finally, Your Honor, I'd ask for permission to be dismissed from the hearing at this point. And I'll read the court's orders in the final order, the written order, just because I'm late for a hearing.
Yes, you're dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Mobilia.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll indicate to the court that it's been a little frustrating for my client having to deal with so many workers. He really doesn't know who he's supposed to talk to, and with gaps in who's taking over the case and so forth. He does support reunification with Ms. Woodenberg. The parties have talked and discussed what parenting time should look like. My client has always taken the child to and from school, and you know, unfortunately, because this worker is new, my client, and that position has always been, if it was reunification with my client, he could live in his mom's home, who has been the caregiver the whole time. So I asked the court to adopt the recommendations with the understanding that we know that maybe this case will close sooner with regard to RT and my client. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The court finds that the lawyer guardian ad litem has complied with the requirements of the statute. That returning this child to a parent today would cause a substantial risk of harm to the child's life, physical health, or mental well-being. That the children should not be returned to a parent today. The agency should not initiate proceedings to terminate parental rights to these children because both parents are making substantial progress in their treatment plans, and the goal for AW is concurrent APLA. And also there's a strong bond by both children with their parents. That reasonable efforts have been made to preserve and reunify the family, make it possible for these children to safely return home. Those reasonable efforts should be continued. In accordance with the statute, progress towards alleviating or mitigating the conditions that cause the children to be placed or remain in temporary foster care has not been made by either parent. And that's just reflects the fact that the court can't return these children to a parent today. that the children's continued placement is necessary and appropriate, is meeting each of their needs, that RJ's or RT its placement is no longer necessary or appropriate once one or both parents are submitting negative drug screens, that the needs of both children can be met in a foster family home, that reasonable efforts have been made to finalize the court-approved permanency plan of return to a parent for both of these children, that permanency planning goal is no longer appropriate for AW and shall be concurrent return to a parent and APLA due to her age and her expressed desires. That the foster homes have followed the reasonable, prudent parenting standard, and that each of these children have had regular opportunities to engage in age or development and appropriate activities. The children or the siblings are not in joint placement because RJ is placed with the paternal grandmother, and the other is placed with fictive kin. Sibling contact is occurring according to law. The court orders that the children continue in the protective and temporary custody of the court and continue their placement with the Department for Care and Supervision. That RJ be released to Robert Thomas and or Ms. Woodenberg under the supervision of the department once either of them is submitting negative drug screens, that whichever parent this RJ returns home to comply with and fully cooperate with DHHS and its contract agencies, that the adjudicated respondents comply with and benefit from the case service plan, that continue the order of agency discretion regarding parenting time of Ms. Woodenberg, supervised or unsupervised by its designee. Parenting time of Mr. Thomas also continues, given the agency discretion to allow unsupervised or supervised parenting time by its designee. Continue the attorneys in this matter. This doesn't need to be in the order, but the court or the agency can certainly submit a JC 36 if at any point either of these children are placed back with a parent and it does not appear to be necessary for the case to continue. And Ms. Gibson, do we have a date for a review hearing in 30 days?
Yes, Your Honor, October 2 from 9 to 10.
Any conflicts with that date or time? That's not 90 days.
That's 30 days.
I thought you said 30 days.
90 days.
Okay, I'm sorry. 90 days would be December 2 at 9 o'clock, 9 to 10.
Okay, any conflicts with that date of time?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
And we don't have Ms. Ortega to clear with, but if she has a conflict, she can let the court know and we'll go back to the drawing board on a date.